And then, right out of nowhere, she grabbed me by the weenus in the middle of a carvery.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
And I'm not even sure
You're
if it's
such
the
a
scientific term, but... welcome, one and all, man,
Welcome.
Wham, alien, cave dweller, underground liver, sky weaver, basket sitter, cake sniffers.
Basket sitter? What the fuck's a basket sitter? Don't say someone who sits in or on baskets.
They sit around them.
That simple.
They sit around them.
Baskets.
Yeah.
How does one sit around a basket?
Well, you just sort of sit near it. You don't want to sit in a basket. Have you ever sat on wicker? It's not pleasant. And speaking of not pleasant,
chairs such a thing then?
That's true. And speaking
Fucking
of not pleasant, folks, welcome to Big Damn Cast.
Yes, the most unpleasant pop culture show on the internet.
We're here to talk about nerdy news, geeky culture bullshit, and all else in between. Today's topics include the majesty of the Joker trailer, the new Todd Phillips movie. Matt's going to get balls deep on some Pet Sematary spoilers, and That's not code for bestiality, by the way. No. Although, you are very close to your cats, and I'm not one to judge.
Not at the moment, they're hiding. I wonder why.
But we are ones to judge on Shazam, which we'll also be diving into.
We will.
A little brief non-spoilery thoughts, and then deep dive into spoilers. For Shazam. I am Christopher Put 'em up Johnson.
I am Matthew, say my name and receive my Watson.
Ooh, that's the most erotic opening we've ever had, I think.
Say my name.
Jesus,
say my name.
When no one is around. Actually, do you know what? I'm just going to put it out there now, ladies and gents.
Okay.
If you've not seen Pet Sematary,
put it away for God's sake.
Don't listen beyond the Joker talk, unless you're not fussed about spoilers. If you've not seen Shazam, don't listen beyond the Joker talk, unless you're not fussed about spoilers. See, we're just spoiling some stuff. We're talking about things. Why? Because we bloody well can.
Here's the thing, you see. If you've seen the trailers for Pet Sematary, you've basically seen the film.
Oh.
If you've seen the trailers for Shazam, there's a good half of the film that you haven't seen anything of.
I'm so delighted by how restrained they have been.
Oh yeah, it's fucking night and day between those two movies of how restrained the marketing's been.
Sometimes minimal clips are better.
Sometimes minimal clips are better.
Sometimes. God.
Sometimes campier is better, but we'll get to that.
I am the wizard Shazam. I don't want to be saying that word. Oh, God.
Yep.
Judd 1.0.
Judd. Original Judd.
OG Judd. Oh, Judd.
Classic Judd.
Classic
Kelvin
Judd.
Universe Judd. Kelvin Timeline Judd.
Oh, God.
So, the trailer dropped for Todd Phillips' Joker movie, which is out in October.
Yes, it bloody did.
Joaquin Phoenix as the nascent Joker.
Aye.
His name is Arthur something, isn't it?
Arthur Fleck.
Arthur Fleck.
Because a lot of people think that in itself is a bit of a troll. Because, of course, what's his name abbreviated when you change his first name to a letter?
Affleck.
Yep. So, I don't think it's a deliberate troll on that, because that's just distracting and weird.
It's a weird name though. I don't think that's got any precedence in Joker comics history, has it?
No. I think the only regular name that's ever been attached to him outside of Joker as a pseudonym is Jack. And I think that was hinted at before the '89 film, because it was like the whole, Jack in the Joker in the deck, like, that kind of Jack in the box.
A playing card motif.
Yeah, Jack's a very kind of common name within like clowning, playing cards, like Punch and Judy-esque sort of, vaudevillian promenade entertainment. Jack's just sort of atypical old school entertainment name. The lead boy is Jack, like all that kind of stuff. So sort of fits the character a bit. Jack Napier then solidified it. And then comic synths have all suggested Jack is his name in some way.
Yes.
But if he's going to change his name, I think Arthur suits him just fine.
Arthur suits him just fine. This movie looks weird.
It does, but here's going in. Mini spoiler alert on our thoughts and feelings, boys and girls. I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it. I think
really
it could be
intrigued
really interesting.
by it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's odd. It's an odd choice, I think, to do a Joker movie without Batman. At least as far as you know.
But what it appears to be is sort of a take on the flashbacks of the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Turned into a story. And I think The Killing Joke is a book that absolutely broke ground, and Brian Boland's artwork is stunning, and a lot of the dialogue by Alan Moore in it is wonderful, but it is a problematic story, especially as time's gone by and it's become more apparent how problematic it is in places, specifically in its use of Barbara Gordon, and sort of depictions of mental health in places. But at the same time, there's no denying it is a very well-told piece of work. However, I think the reason why it has lasted the test of time isn't necessarily the monologues or the style, but it is that potential backstory for him. It's that, this guy might actually have basically been forced into becoming this horrible force of nature by a circumstance. Like, what if he was actually a lovely person? And,
I think most post-Batman stuff has... post-Killing Joke stuff has kind of taken that as gospel, or at least a version of it,
or suggested. Because even in that story toward the end, he says sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another, and we only ever see those flashbacks sort of through his inner monologue. So it might be a complete bullshit story, but
maybe
he doesn't know anymore if that is the truth or if it's something else. And there's been other interpretations, like the old school comics suggested he was always a mobster, because the Joker has had an origin reveal in that story about the Batman teaching a lecture at a university about the Red Hood case to a bunch of students it was the 40s issue, and in that it's revealed the Joker was this mobster, the Red Hood, and so he was always this nasty, sort of what's it, and then the animated series and the Burton movie used the idea of the mobster as his origin, although the animated series is vague on it on purpose.
Yes.
Because the part
of
the
only comes up in Phantasm, doesn't it?
He's in a couple of episodes in Series 4 as well. Someone notes... I remember in one of them someone notes him in a photograph. And there's also a character that's suggested to be him at one point who's not a mobster, who's sort of a comedian. But they don't dwell on it too much. It's more of a nod for the audience to be like, hey, that might be him. But Paul Dini's always said that his interpretation of him for the animated series is he was always a mob enforcer, he was always a nasty piece of work, and the chemicals incident was the thing which made him go, screw it, I'm just going to push this even further. So which is that to me is believable, because he's very, very much an agent of chaos, and it's like, yeah, cool, why not? But there is something about the Killing Joke which has stood the test of time, which is the sympathetic angle of, like, maybe he was just a nice guy who, through horrible circumstance lost his wife and child, and, his future child, and became this other thing entirely, on one bad day. And this film looks to be sort of taking that idea, although instead of it being the Joker as a sort of a ex-chemical plant worker who's now trying to make it big as a comedian with his pregnant wife, it's based on hints we're given in the trailer, a sort of kind of a mentally unstable sort of older guy, because you see they're not hiding the fact that Joaquin's like in his 40s.
No.
So they're going for an older character. They're not, but he's very childlike and innocent. They're kind of playing on the idea that possibly, he's on the spectrum or something like that, but is a good-natured person. Because you can see in his notes, the bit where he's scrolling away, he's kind of making notes to himself about, like, I know that I'm okay. People don't think I am, and things like that. And it's like, oh god, he's got a problem with confidence. He's a big mummy's boy. His mum, like, believes in him so much. He's looking after his mum by the look of it, taking care of her. They're very close, and he's just trying to be a nice person, but the world around him is getting less and less nice by the minute, and it starts to change him. So that's again, it's sort of, this could be uncomfortable based on how they deal with the mental health side of it. This could be This could be bad, but it also depends on the thematic flow of the film. Like if they convince us that the world can do this to someone who is so innocent and nice, who just needs that bit of extra support, but the world is not only refusing it, it's pushing back against him. Could that lead to someone, becoming a reflection of the world around him?
Yeah,
which is not really the story of a comic book supervillain so much as a commentary on American modern life and society and how we treat our fellow man.
This is also a period piece.
Yeah, set in the 80s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's...
so who knows? Who knows?
Dares to dream. Yeah.
It's a little early to tell, but it looks interesting.
Yeah.
That much I can say.
I think the way to approach it is like the Nolan Batman films. This isn't a superhero movie. It's a crime film. It's a Goodfellas-y, kind of what's the stand-up comedy one that De Niro was in?
Oh, King of Comedy.
King of Comedy. It's that kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got that vibe. I mean, right down to De Niro being a talk show host in this, which makes me think that in itself is a homage.
Yeah.
There's a few visual nods in it, like the bit where he's skipping down the stairs toward the end, which mirrors him walking up them earlier on. The way he's skipping down the stairs, the way it's framed, looks a little bit like that bit in. Oh my God, is it 10 Things I Hate About You? Whatever, where Heath Ledger's dancing down the bleachers.
Possibly.
It's sort of. I can't remember which scene it is, but it's just sort of. Hang on, is that deliberately a tiny visual nod to Ledger as an actor, not to his take on the character? I mean, there's definitely some. There's definitely. It's all right. Because there's definitely joke. There's definitely joke. You swine. I mean, there's definitely Joker nods, like the costumes straight out of the '60s show. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
They've whacked an orange jacket in there, but it's Romero, yeah. So, but what do you think? What do you? Because this is DC's first break away from its shared universe, like complete break away from its shared universe and starting it.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to confuse some audiences?
I think audiences are already fucking confused.
Yeah.
So, don't worry about it.
Because I mean, they are course correcting their main universe now to be more vague.
Just forge ahead and do what you got to do. Make good films. Don't worry about connecting them.
Yeah.
And if this is good, then maybe we can tie it into the Batman somehow. Maybe we don't bother. Maybe it just exists on its own as a Elseworlds tale.
Yeah.
So whatever.
And if they're not,
people are already confused.
Yeah, well, if it annoys people, they can watch the Gotham finale, where it looks like, still without using his name, they have the Joker in it finally, in the present day set stuff. So, I feel bad for Cameron Monaghan. He's an amazing performer, and though I've not watched that show because I got 5 episodes into season 1 and went, this is trash. I've been trash. Spoiler alert, because I've been working on the 2nd season of The Best Joker. For my YouTube channel, I have been keeping abreast of him because I touched on him last series, all steady on, and he's not the Joker, but with this reveal of presumably his Jeremiah character being this character in the present day, he is the Joker.
He's the Joker.
Freaking is.
It looks like they've got Jack Nicholson today.
Yeah.
To do cosplay of his Batman 89 costume. That's what it looks like. It looks fucking horrendous.
I mean, weirdly, I don't hate it because it's, you know what? If they're going to do it, at least they're doing more than Smallville ever did and just having him take his shirt off at the end of the series. In this, they're doing a whole episode set in the present day timeline to show you what became of everyone.
Which I almost guarantee is going to lead to everyone saying, why didn't we get that series in the first place?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Exactly.
This is what everyone actually wanted. But no, instead we're getting Pennyworth, another prequel. This time about Alfred, but not the same Alfred. It's a different Alfred.
Gosh. Do you remember when Gotham first entered pre-production about 7 years ago and was going to be just an adaptation of GCPD?
Yeah.
Which would have been wonderful. Like a police procedural setting Gotham City during the time of Batman. That would have been amazing.
But no, they made it a prequel, and then they did Krypton.
Oh, God.
And now they're doing Pennyworth.
Superman's story. What's his granddad up to?
It's like, how can we cash in on these IPs without actually having to engage with any of the things that people are familiar with about them?
It seems that a lot of it, though, is
In
down
any
to Warner Brothers
meaningful way.
restriction. Yeah, Warner Brothers just don't allow them to use certain things on the TV. That it took a lot of convincing for Berlanti to get permission to have Superman pop up in Supergirl.
Yeah.
And they had to kind of... Warner Brothers' caveat was you have to make it very clear that this Superman is part of the Supergirl separate continuity from everyone else in this other universe. And it's like, okay, right, sure, so we can't hint that there's a Superman in the main, CW DC world. No. It's like, oh. Okay, because for some reason the big names, the big villains and the big heroes, they're really restrictive on their use on television. Even though you could very easily do a Batman story in Flash, like just do a Flash 2-parter where Batman's in it. Like you could do that so easy, and it would be amazing for people to tune in.
It got to the point where they just made Arrow Batman.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, right down to adapting the Ra's al Ghul stuff.
Yeah.
With Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul. And it's just like, oh, for God's sake. Supergirl's now finally got a Lex. Like, Lex Luthor is in Supergirl now.
Yes, yeah.
So, they're getting closer, but... And we've got another Joker on the way, because... hang on, we've had another one. He's seen in Titans in some montage scenes.
Oh, I've still not watched that yet, but I should give it a go.
Yeah, no spoilers there. It's literally, in that one trailer where you sort of briefly see a flash of green as he gets like punched into a wing mirror. That's basically it. But so he's in that. He exists in that continuity, and also Birds of Prey filming photos leaked from filming last week with Harley Quinn being kicked out of an idyllic looking house in a neighborhood, and the Joker upstairs throwing her stuff out of a window. Yeah. It is the Jared Leto Joker. Sure. It's not Jared Leto because he's in Manchester at the minute filming Morbius. But it's the Jared Leto Joker. So whether or not they're going to get they're close on him later, or they've already got it, or whether or not the character's just sort of going to be out of focus at the top, yelling and screaming. Don't know, but
because I think DC have gotten a bit more confident about doing things like that to tie things together. Shall we say?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, but anyway, enough of that dead horse.
Enough of this dead horse.
Would you like to tell us about dead cats?
I'd love to. It's
the weirdest segue ever.
As well as the big movie this week, Shazam, which we're going to talk about in great detail.
Oh, good lord, yes.
In great detail. We also have Pet Sematary this week, which is a new adaptation of Stephen King's seminal 1984 horror novel, which was previously adapted by director Mary Lambert in 1989 with Dale Midkiff and Denise Crosby and Fred Gwynne. That movie's fucking great. It's kind of campy and a bit schlocky, but in a really cool way. And Fred Gwynne is just superb in it. But they decided to do another version, and they've updated it to modern day, and it's more or less the same story of the Creed family who relocate to Ludlow, Maine from Boston to...
Wait, hang on. They relocate to Maine?
Maine.
No one's ever lived in Maine in a Stephen King story.
Maine. Stephen King, he's the main guy. But yes, Lewis Creed, played in this version by Jason Clarke, is going to take up the resident doctor role at the local university campus, and his wife and two children are going to sort of build this idyllic little life in the country, but unfortunately they're next to a very, very busy road, and they also discover that there's a pet cemetery on their property, which is misspelt wonderfully, and is the burying place for all the local children's pets and stuff when they die, including the long dead pet of their ancient neighbour Judd Crandall, played here by John Lithgow, who sort of lets Lewis in on a bit of the local folklore. And when His daughter, Lewis's daughter Ellie's beloved cat Church is killed in a road accident. Rather than break Ellie's heart, Judd convinces Lewis to bury the cat, not in the pet cemetery, but in a secret place further beyond, deeper in the woods. An old Indian burial ground which has been corrupted by spirits because it brings Church back, but he's not quite right. And then other things ensue. Before I get into some spoilers,
ensue.
Other things happen. Plot happens. Before I get into some spoilers, you will know if you've seen any of the trailers and are vaguely familiar with the story that they've made some big changes with certain characters.
You were slightly apprehensive, I sensed at first when you were discussing that in your spoiler-free review video up on the Big Damn channel.
It's not a bad thing. And the changes they've made to the story in general are not a bad thing. It's a very, like as I say in that spoiler-free review, it's a very lean adaptation. It cuts so much. And it's only an hour and 40 minutes. Which,
oh, wow.
A 600-odd page Stephen King novel, that's a quick runtime, and it feels
a really good length for a modern horror film, though.
I actually, and I don't often say this about movies in general, I thought it was a little too short.
Oh,
because I think even particularly at the beginning, it feels sort of rushed in a way. Like you go from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene to scene to scene, and nothing really lands. Nothing really has time to set up, and the relationships, particularly with the relationship between the Creeds and Judd, just don't quite solidify, I don't think.
Oh.
So a lot of it doesn't quite feel earned.
Do you think that's a result of the edit, or these? Did it feel like these were the choices made?
I don't know. I feel like it might be a bit of both. I think they clearly pared down the story for the screenplay, but I feel that there might also be a good 20 minutes of this film on the cutting room floor. But because some of the scenes end so seemingly abruptly that I'm like, oh, that's weird. And some of the dialogue is so sparse. I'm like, oh, okay. But what is effective about the film is that because it is so lean, it cuts right to the heart of the matter very quickly.
Aye.
And instead of it building up to something that you know is coming if you're at all familiar with Pet Sematary, which a lot of people are through cultural osmosis, whether they've read the book, seen the film or not, it then takes the idea, puts its own particular spin on it, and then runs with it. So that's interesting. And it is very creepy and has some really effective creepy moments, some great scares, some wonderful tension. Everyone in it is great. Great performances from Jason Clarke and Amy Semetz as his wife. Great performance from John Lithgow because it's John fucking Lithgow. What do you expect? Jete Lawrence, who is Ellie, is absolutely incredible. She is so good. I don't know how old she is in reality, but she's playing a 9-year-old and she doesn't look that old. So I'm going to say she's probably around 9 IRL. And she's fabulous in this. She's absolutely fabulous. You will have had most of the big plot changes spoiled for you if you've seen the trailers. And that, I feel like that it kind of suffers from that because as I'll mention when we get into spoilers in a sec, the film almost it seems like it's not expecting you to already know what's going to happen. But then in some ways it is. So it's a bit of a weird one. But I'll get into detail in that in a sec. But yeah, I like Pet Sematary. I like it a lot. I think it's effective. It's creepy. It's got this whole sort of blue, dreamy haze over the whole thing, which makes it look kind of dreamlike, and it's got a sort of a weird... I mean, dreams are a recurring thing in it, but it's got a nice kind of dream logic to it, in some of its transitions as well, some of its edits, where it's not... Some of them are actual dreams, and then some of them just look like dreams, so it fits it tonally. And it's, it's a pretty gnarly movie. It's a nasty little thing. Not in a mean-spirited way, but just in a twist-the-knife emotional sort of way, which its leanness sort of helps with. It's lean and it's mean, and I like it a lot. I don't know if I prefer it to the original, but they're very, very different movies. But yeah, I'm going to talk a bit of spoilers now, so if you do want to remain unspoiled for Pet Sematary, stop listening and skip ahead to Shazam, or skip the rest of the podcast completely if you don't want to get spoiled about Shazam. You're walking into a minefield right now.
Go and see films, guys. Go and watch films.
Go and see Shazam and Pet Sematary. Go see Shazam, maybe go see Pet Sematary. So...
There's Matt's review.
Go see Shazam, maybe go see Pet Sematary. Big change in Pet Sematary that they've made. As you will know from the trailers and the fucking poster and every bit of marketing related to this film, is instead of in the original novel and the film, it's the Creed's infant son Gage who is killed in a road accident and is reburied in the burial ground by Lewis to come back wrong. In this version, it's Ellie, and
okay, that is a bit of a shift.
So it's the older kid, and of course, it comes with the requisite switch that in the book, Ellie is sort of implied to be slightly psychic or some kind of medium or something because she can see the ghost of a patient her dad failed to save, who is trying to warn the family that something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
And she has like sort of a sense of feeling and bad dreams that something bad's going to happen to her dad and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They switched that to Gage in this version, obviously, because they're switching Ellie to be the kid who gets killed.
Yeah, I mean okay. Does he have that ability as well?
Not really.
So they've sort of trimmed that out. Even
he's like 2. He does have that ability,
yeah,
but the way he expresses it is very different because he's 2 in this.
Yeah, he's not like a 9-year-old saying, "Dad, I keep seeing someone." It's a 2-year-old going, "There, what there?" I don't know what you're talking about, son. But, like that kind of thing.
But it does work in that when he says the name of the kid who dies, which is how Rachel, his mum, realizes that something bad is gonna happen, and that Gage is Ellie in the original, Gage in the remake is seeing something otherworldly or has some sort of other sense.
Yeah.
But it works better in this because he's 2, so he mangles the name in a way that a 9-year-old might not.
Okay.
Where Pascal becomes Paxcal, which is a bit more believable for a 2-year-old than it is for a 9-year-old. And so it works like that, kind of. And you get these nice... a couple of these nice moments where... Because what happens is there's a kid who dies in a road accident just after Lewis starts at the campus surgery. And he brings him in, and this kid is, like, completely fucked up. Like, his head's been cracked open. And you can fucking see his brain, and he's bleeding out all down one side of his body. And he dies on the table. Amazing makeup effects in this, by the way, especially for that moment. He dies on the table, and Lewis can't help him. But after he dies, he then comes back and warns Lewis by name that something bad's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But Lewis just thinks it's a hallucination, like a stress-induced hallucination. But then Pascal keeps turning up in Lewis's dreams and then later Ellie's dreams on this version, Gage. So you've got moments like Gage has done a drawing of a stick figure with all this red coming out of the top of his head. And he asks Ellie what she's drawn, but Ellie says, "Oh no, Gage drew that." And then you get these little moments where Gage is saying he can see something, his mum can't see anything, but then it cuts to Gage's POV, or it does a cut, and it's obvious that, from Gage's point of view, and you can see the ghost of Pascal there with his head split open and blood all down his face. So there's some nice grisly stuff there. So he's a terrifying looking character, but he's actually sympathetic and trying to help.
Yeah.
And then you've got, so that's all switched to Gage instead of being from Ellie. So that's a lot of the stuff, a lot of the character, a lot of the wider feel of the narrative from the book and the original film is just cut completely. Like, there's a whole subplot with Lewis and Rachel's parents. They can't stand each other. Rachel's parents think Lewis is a bum. Lewis thinks that Rachel's dad particularly is a conceited prick who is too concerned with his money. All of that's gone.
Oh.
Rachel's parents are in this film very briefly for Ellie's birthday party and her funeral, but neither of them have a line.
Okay, so they're very much a casualty
line
of the adaptation then. Like,
yeah,
you guys
absolutely. And none of that tension is really addressed. They actually big up the Zelda stuff. So in Rachel has a sister called Zelda who died of spinal meningitis, and she was terrified of her because Zelda was very like twisted and cruel and bitter towards the end, as in her mind as well as she was in her body. And Rachel feels responsible for her death because she was left alone with Zelda to look after her when she was like 8 or something. And they changed the manner of the death slightly so that Rachel feels a bit more responsible, although it's and they really hit the visuals on it, and the makeup job they do for it is again spectacular. And they use that as more of a vector to get into for whatever power is in the burial ground to get into Rachel's head. They address the Wendigo as by name more in this, but you still don't really see anything. So the Wendigo is implied to be the spirit that has corrupted the burial ground and is what brings people back wrong. One of the actual accident in which Ellie is killed is incredibly effective.
Yeah.
The way that it's shot and staged, and the way that it's the performance is just hugely affecting. But what they do with it is they recreate that moment where Gage is running towards the road and Lewis runs after him to stop him, and Lewis catches him. So for a moment, if you didn't already know that they changed it to Ellie, you might have thought it was going to be Gage. Although they've retooled the script, they put so much more emphasis on the relationship between Ellie and her father, and Ellie and Judd, in that Judd is introduced to the family through meeting Ellie first, then the family, rather than befriending Lewis first and then spreading out to the rest of the family. It kind of makes it obvious that it's going to be Ellie because you don't have that sort of connection to Gage yet.
Yeah. So what you're saying is they constantly book tease you.
Yeah, kind of. And
book baiting.
Yeah. But the way that it's shot, and she's lured into the road by church, the newly resurrected church, who Lewis has tried to like get rid of and abandon, but has made his way back. And it's a birthday party, obviously. So she's lured into the road by church, and the truck it swerves to miss Lewis and Gage as Lewis grabs Gage.
Yeah.
But then the tanker comes unhooked from the cab.
Oh.
As the truck capsizes, and the tanker smacks into Ellie. And you don't see anything apart. Well, you see Lewis come round the side of the wreckage, and you see his wife. You see Rachel in tears, and then you just see this little body in the bushes in the side of the road.
Oh God!
And then as it pans out, as it pulls out into an aerial shot, you just see this stark white tanker, and there's just this huge splash of blood on the ladder on the front of it.
Ooh.
So the implication being where it's just smacked it. So it's really they don't really go into like, look at this massacred child. The way they actually shoot is actually more effective, and that hit me a bit. I think in a way that it doesn't in the original. The original is also pretty effective, and there's there's things like the funerals are a bit more perfunctory because in the original there's a scrap between Lewis and his stepfather. Father-in-law, I should say, who that sort of it brings their tension to a head. So that's all gone. It's very quick. The decision for Lewis to dig up Ellie and rebury her is much quicker. There's not sort of any discussion about the last time somebody buried a person there. Like, there's a whole flashback sequence in the original movie and in the book, but that doesn't really come up. Like, the name of that person comes up when Lewis is doing some research on the land that he owns, which includes the burial ground, but it's never really addressed, so it's never really foreshadowed how exactly Ellie's going to come back. But when she does come back, she's incredibly creepy. Like the kid actor, like Jette Lawrence, is just fantastic. There's a wonderful scene, you see some of it in the trailer, where she's come back and he's bathing her, and he's brushing her hair in the bath, and it keeps getting snaggled.
Oh.
And then he pulls like a staple out of her hair, and then he just parts her hair so you can see, and you can just see the back of her head where she's been stapled back up after being
oh god,
after being prepared for burial.
Oh god.
But also she's got the way that they bring her back. She's got a slightly lopsided face. So what, like her her right eye is like constantly looking upwards.
Oh, so there's nice liberties
Like
taken with sort of how this looks then, and it.
Yeah,
oh.
It's really cool. It's and like I say, what they do a better job of in this is they let the Wendigo or whatever spirit is inhabiting Ellie speak through Ellie more.
Okay.
And there's even a degree of a shape shifting to sort of appear as what people fear, because it's whatever the spirit is using Ellie as a vessel. What they do with the ending is really interesting. So you get Ellie killing Judd, you get Ellie killing Rachel, but Rachel comes back into the picture earlier, and her and Lewis sort of argue over whether she's really Ellie, because Lewis is broken at this point. Like, his mind's just gone. And they don't do as good a job of charting that journey as they do in the original, where he just sort of devolves into a babbling wreck. But so Lewis is convinced that, no, this is Ellie, she's back, we get another chance with her, and Rachel is just horrified by her daughter. So Ellie's like, well, I guess Mum has to go then.
Oh god.
So eventually, this is like the climax. The last 25 minutes of the film is this whole sort of run around, Ellie hunting down and cornering and eventually killing her mother. And what happens in the original is that the reanimated Ellie stays with Rachel's parents, because Lewis sends Rachel and Gage, Ellie away to her parents so he can sort of dig up Gage and resurrect him in secret. And the same thing happens here, but obviously it's Rachel and Gage, but they come back sooner, and she comes back with Gage, as opposed to leaving him at her parents like she does with. So you've also got this 2-year-old who is imperiled by the reanimated Ellie, as well as her mum. And so yeah, it's that sort of confrontation, and then everything going wrong. You see her kill Judd, and they do the same sort of thing that they do in the original, where she slices his Achilles tendon with a scalpel that she takes from her dad's medical bag. But they tease it, because in the original it's from under a bed in his bedroom.
Yeah. In
this, they have him go upstairs and like kick the bed aside, and they even have the shot of his bare ankle like from underneath the bed, so you're expecting it.
Yeah, they book teasing, man, book teasing.
Yeah, and then they subvert it, so they're very clever about that. And then yeah, they actually do it when he's down the stairs after they fake out with, oh, the noises were church all along. But Judd's a bit colder in this. He's a bit more spiky than he is.
Yeah, I remember when we saw the first or possibly the second trailer, you saying, because I think unanimously we both love John Lithgow, but you were like, oh, he seems a bit sort of, I don't know, quiet. Like there's no sort of eccentricity to it, which was probably more just something that is associated with the movie adaptation in the first place. Anyway,
yeah.
The character's a very warm character, isn't he?
Yes.
So
yeah, in the book and the original, there's sort of a almost paternal relationship between Judd and Lewis.
Yeah, and then the original film sort of depicts that relatively well, and it is a bit goofy down to the delivery, but like he's. Yeah. I mean, that's hence why you and Keeks regularly do impressions of Judd at me, and terrify me with them.
Fred Gwynn is this sort of like avuncular and warm figure, which is why, and larger than life as well, in both physically and in personality, which is why Mary Lambert wanted him for the original Pet Sematary, because he is that sort of. Slightly kooky neighbour.
Within 2 minutes of spending time with him, you're like, oh, he's lovely, that kind of vibe.
But he's also sort of like slightly odd, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
Whereas John Lithgow's just a bit spikier. In the book, they cut this from the original film, but in the book, his wife, he's still living with his wife, and she's ancient, and she dies during the course of the book, which is one of Ellie's first experiences with death.
Yeah.
Like, Ellie doesn't really have any experience with death in this to sort of foreshadow
what happens to Gage.
What happens to Gage.
Yeah.
Whereas she does in the original. She kind of gets introduced to it through the Pet Cemetery when she stumbles on it, but in a sort of very superficial way. But she's also quite smart for a 9-year-old, so I don't know. So Judd's a bit colder in this, but in this he's already a widower, so his wife's already passed away before the events of the film.
Okay.
So he's a bit colder from that respect, I think, anyway. But yeah, she kills Judd, and then she goes back, kills her mum, knocks her dad out, and then she drags her mum through to the Pet Cemetery to rebury her. So she's going to bury him and bring her back. Lewis goes after her, fights down Ellie, and just when it looks like Ellie's going to... Lewis is going to kill Ellie again, the reanimated Rachel comes up behind and kills him.
Okay.
And then they rebury Lewis in the burial ground, and he comes back, and then the final moments of the film is they, after having burnt down Judd's house to get rid of Judd's body and all that stuff and get rid of any evidence, it's them returning to the car in which Lewis had locked Gage for safety, and Lewis coming round to it and unlocking it, and that's the end of the film.
Oh, okay.
Whereas in the original book and the original film end with after reanimated Gage kills Rachel, Lewis finally kills the reanimated Gage again, but he's so broken at this point that he's convinced that the reason Gage came back wrong is because he waited too long. So he immediately takes Rachel's body to the burial ground, reburies her, and he's waiting at home for her, and then she returns. And it's implied less heavily in the book, more heavily in the film, because she fucking straight up picks up a knife.
Yeah.
The reanimated Rachel then kills him. So it's an interesting ending, but it also doesn't sort of have a... I understand that the original ending is ambiguous anyway, but the new ending doesn't quite have that button to it.
Yeah.
I see what they're going for, but it doesn't quite have that irony thing going on.
Yeah,
It's
we want to spook everybody, but we don't want to do the same spook that they already did before. So let's do a different spook. But it's like the reason the original's so everlasting is because it's like the perfect note to end on.
Yeah, and this just doesn't quite feel as earned. But that being said, it's an entertaining ride. And the changes they've made are interesting, if not necessarily always successful. Mm-hmm. But like I say, I could have done with it being another 20 minutes longer just so those relationships could be fleshed out, especially the relationship with Judd. Like, he just feels a bit...
distant in comparison.
Yeah.
Would you then recommend folks who want to check this out maybe pick up, like, both films, for example? So I
recommend people watch the original anyway, because it's a fucking classic.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I would. It's definitely not a replacement for the original.
It's more an alternate take.
They're both very different adaptations, but I think the original captures the spirit of the book better, whereas the new one is just more concerned with taking the concept and putting its own twist on it, which is not inherently a bad thing, but I think it loses some of the theme of the original book. But as a horror movie in its own right, I think it's pretty good. Holy
shizzle! So you would bury it in an ancient Indian burial ground?
I would. Sometimes dead is better, but you can bring things back. Okay.
Aww.
It's not quite right, but it's okay. It's a little bit wrong.
Don't want to go down that road.
Oh, you don't want to go down that road. Oh, not in that road.
Well, from one story of children in peril to another. What a great segue. Let's keep it brief on the spoiler-free section because I want to tuck right into this.
Also, what there's not a great deal you can say about Shazam without spoiling it if you want to get into like the back half of the movie.
That's very true. But for those who have come in, having listened to the Pet Sematary bit, fussed about spoilers or nay, and want to just hear our spoiler-free thoughts on Shazam, again, we stress, don't spoil it for yourself if possible. But yeah, let's give some sort of roundups. This is the best DCEU movie for me, hands down.
Yes, yeah, no, yes, it is.
Hands
absolutely.
down. I love Wonder Woman. I love its sense of innocence and its sense of sort of charm, the charm that Wonder Woman has. But it does kind of set itself up for a fall with a third act that's very predictable. Which, it handles very well, but it's still a bit like, oh, CGI fight, okay. This was a film about the concept of like whether or not there is such thing as a villain that we need to face, or whether or not blah 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 blah. However, this is a little more black and white in that sense, but it deals with more complex stuff along the way. And it just has a really freaking banging third act.
Oh yeah, it's
a third act that is not hinted at anywhere in the marketing beyond like two shots.
No,
in the whole thing.
What is really smart about this movie is it delivers what you think you want from a superhero movie and what you actually want, but might not know you want from a superhero movie. It's David F. Sandberg's the director, who's previously known for horror stuff, and he brings just enough of that sensibility to this to make it kind of perilous for children.
It reeks of like Return to Oz, Goonies, Ghostbusters. Yeah. It has that kind of this is like, creepier than it should be kind of vibe.
It was Raiders of the Lost Ark for me, like that level of peril and sort of violence.
Yeah. But it's a much more violent movie than I was expecting, and not in a hey, this is violent. It's my god, that happened.
It's like but in enough that it's gonna shock children, but not scare them. I think.
Yeah, I mean, there are 7 characters that I think could frighten younger viewers for sure.
Oh yes, and they're absolutely designed to do so. But I think in that sort of 80s action adventure way of like mid 80s period Spielberg.
Yes, yeah,
and that kind of thing. It's that sort of tone that they're aiming at, which I think is really smart because as well as that dancing that fine line between being too much and not enough to get the kids. It also has that family element in it, which is done just superbly. Because as you will know from the trailers, Billy Batson is a serial runaway foster kid who is
serial runaway
who at the start of this movie is introduced to a new foster home where he meets Freddie. Played by the kid whose name I can't remember.
Jack Dylan Grazer.
Jack Dylan Grazer, who is young Eddie in It. And he's great in this. Just fucking great in this. But yeah, it's...
What's the name of the guy who plays Billy? It's like Angel Archer, something like that?
There's so many great kid actors in this film, but I can't remember any of the names.
Those two, I would happily watch a whole movie of those two.
Yeah. He's great,
but then they add that beautiful cherry on top of the dual role with Zachary Levi.
Asher Angel,
that's it.
But yeah, I would be interested to know how much of Asher Angel's Billy Zachary Levi then used as Shazam, because they feel like the same person.
Oh, they absolutely feel like the same character. Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if, like, Asher was around for a lot of Zachary Levi's stuff shooting, or if they spent a lot of time together outside of shooting to sort of get that feel.
Yeah, there's a definite, definitely a very consciously maintained and believable through line in the performance of like the voice is different, the body's different, but that is the same character. Like that is Billy.
Absolutely.
And it works so well. I love the fact that it uses the New 52 setup for Billy Batson, like the exact same foster home, right down to it being the exact same brothers and sisters, and and it works well. I mean, here's where Jeff John's input works really bloody well.
Yeah,
because he wrote that
absolutely,
and is again credited as like being one. I think he's one of the producers on this one. So he's been there because he's no longer in that sort of Kevin Feige-esque position, is he? They've decided not to do that anymore. But he's part of the creative process of the last two films, especially.
Well, Jeff Johns has been sort of the driving, creating force behind DC in general for
good few years now,
over a decade at this point. Like going back, even going back to like his sort of reinvigoration of Green Lantern and bringing Hal Jordan back, which sort of kicked off a lot of the modern age of DC.
Yeah.
So Jeff Johns has been in the same way that Bendis was for Marvel.
Yeah.
From around 2005 onwards, he's definitely been a driving force for the versions of the characters and world that have become popularized.
Yeah.
For better or worse. It seems like they've taken some of the wrong lessons from his interpretations of Superman and Batman, but hey, that's Warner Brothers for you.
But that's kind of part of why this works, is that this doesn't shun or ignore the rest of the DCEU. It definitely acknowledges its existence, but it's its own thing. The same way Aquaman, there is one sentence in it that alludes to an ongoing continuity. And as a result, it becomes its own beast. This very much is. It's like a IRL. It's this kid's obsessed with superheroes. Yep, we see that all the time. It just so happens in this universe they exist, but it's about the people who admire them, the kids who admire them, and a kid who sort of starts to take off, because that's the thing, the whole Shazam transference of power thing, the wizard Shazam transferring his powers to Billy Batson. Like, Billy Batson becomes what is needed now as that force. And of course, he looks like a superhero. But the costume detailing, oh my god, like the boots and
such a cool costume.
I can't remember the name of that. What's the bloody tiger from the comics?
Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, they keep bringing the tiger up.
Yeah, but it's on his buckles as well, the cape buckle.
Oh,
there's a tiger head sculpted into each of them. So there's the costume itself even is like this lovely tapestry of nods, whilst at the same time just being a on purpose kind of generic superhero costume, because of course it is, because it's what a 14-year-old kid would imagine. So the devil's in the details with that one, but on the surface it is just a big red puffy suit with chest thing and cape. Because it's a very simple. It's probably the simplest. Captain Marvel Shazam costume since like the first one, because they've always sort of gone for a crossover sash or a hood or other things since then, but this one's like real straightforward. This is basically a Superman costume, which makes sense in the film completely why that would be the case.
Yes. Talkie Tawny is the name of the tiger.
Talkie Tawny.
He's an anthropomorphic tiger.
Of course he is. Who turns into a bigger tiger that's more feral.
I think so, yeah.
Which is really stupid, because it's like, you're already a tiger.
Yeah, he's just a tiger dude.
I would feel more threatened
if a tiger.
I would feel more threatened if a tiger with a monocle and a suit attacked me than an actual tiger. I'd be like, what the hell's going on? What is happening? Like, why have Shere Khan when you can have Shere Khan from Tailspin?
Quite.
So there's that. So the basic plot, again, without spoilers, is Wizard imparts his powers onto this young boy who's pure of heart. Grants him the strength of Hercules, the might of Zeus, and all that good stuff, which gets a full-on shout out in the movie, which I was delighted with.
Oh yeah,
and he does what any 14-year-old kid who's suddenly an adult would do, which is try to buy beer, which is wonderful.
Absolutely,
like for the first hour, this movie is just big with sparkle fingers and owns it and enjoys it, and it's perfect, because a kid wouldn't immediately start going, oh my god, I'm a superhero now. It'd be like, oh my god, I'm a superhero, that's cool. Does anyone want to take a selfie with me? Like,
does anyone know what a superhero does? Nope. Okay,
let's do YouTube videos testing out my powers, like, and upload them with a multitude of nicknames, because at no point in the film does he get a name.
Nope.
Which I love. My favourite was the YouTube videos. A bunch of them were called him Zapped in America, which I thought was brilliant.
I like that one very, very much.
Loved that. So yeah, and suddenly Billy's got a lot of growing up to do when an actual villain rocks up with a connection to Shazam and the powers.
It's Mark Strong being Grant Morrison.
But Mark Strong. God, yeah,
He's in Grant Morrison cosplay for this.
He is. I did like the take on Savannah. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah.
Because it is based on one of the modern storylines, isn't it? They've done something like that with Savannah recently.
It's based on the Jeff Johns New 52 DC Rebirth era stuff.
It's like mad scientist dabbling with magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Foster family, was originally introduced in Flashpoint, because it's the Flashpoint universe version of Billy Batson and his family.
Yeah. So much more is to spoil, but
yes,
this film is funny as hell.
Yes,
it is. The action is sort of that wonderful mix of big flashy superhero and like brutal stuff.
Even the washing machine in the background is getting excited about it.
It is. It's loving it. I can see its face.
Right.
I can see its face, and it's like a magic 8-ball.
We need to talk spoilers then, so we can really get our teeth into it.
We do. Guys, if you've not seen Shazam, go and see Shazam. It's the best DCEU movie, hands down.
It is really, really good. It's a great time at the cinema.
Wonderful, bold new direction for the whole thing, at the same time not taking a dump on the stuff before. So if you love the output so far, it validates and gives it a high five and takes a bow to it, but it sets out in a direction that I think will be much more palatable and give much more longevity to the DCEU as a whole.
There's so much fun to be had here, so go and have it.
I'm delighted that we're at the point now where there are 3 DCEU movies that I've enjoyed, two of which I think are really good. It's nice to have like an almost growing even amount now, like 4 for 3. Yeah. 4 for 3. Let's get one more good one.
And you know the 2 of them that I've arguably enjoyed the most are also the silliest in Aquaman and Shazam. But Shazam holds it together better.
Yeah. I think Shazam's where Aquaman had a dire script but was a lot of fun.
But Aquaman doesn't always know it's being silly.
Yeah, a lot of the fun from it is accidental, which is embarrassing. Yeah. But as a viewer, it doesn't matter because you're having a good time. Whereas Shazam knows it's being silly.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's intentionally so.
Yeah, the fun of Aquaman, the charm of Wonder Woman, that's it pretty much in terms of DCU things.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely pulling from. I think Mark Kermode described it this way. He says it's if Big met the Chris Reeves Superman.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect description. Let us dive into spoilers.
Oh yes,
let us
can't wait.
Let us get sucked into the Rock of Eternity and
spoilers from this point forward.
Talk spoilers. Oh Christ, where to begin? Let's try and be chronological because good Lord, I'll go all over the shop. So, John Glover, yes please. I
thought you'd like John Glover.
I fucking love John Glover, and the fact that so he's Savannah Senior, as it were. Like he's Savannah's dad. He's the head of, because in this Savannah has it's a company. It's a big Oscorp kind of thing, like a very LexCorp kind of thing. So he's the dad of the supervillain for the second time because he was Lionel Luthor in Smallville. So he's Lionel Luthor, but he's also the head of a company and a bit of a coward, and he's got that haircut. So he's also Daniel Clamp from the greatest movie ever made, Gremlins 2: The New Batch. To the point where I'm like, did they literally just go, oh, he played that character and that character, let's just put those 2 characters into one character and
probably
put him in the film, and also add a wheelchair. This is his 3rd on-camera DC role as well, isn't it?
Yes,
because he was
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin. He was Jason Woodrow, the Floronic Man. But now you'll
but they didn't make it the Floronic. Yeah.
But now you'll have to die. And he's also the Riddler in the animated series. Yay! He's got 4 on the bill. Of course. Yeah. I love John Glover, and that casting was genius because it wasn't just a nice bit of Berlanti-esque fan casting, but it was a smart choice because that boardroom, you had to sell how frightening that was.
Oh boy, do
and
they!
And he sells how scary that is by being so terrified.
It's very, very good.
I'm familiar with the 7 Sins
I am not
in the comics. Yeah, I'm sort of vaguely familiar. They are usually humanoid, like monstrous, but sort of depicted as like a smarmy looking human character and stuff like that. They've taken different forms, but they're usually people, with kind of maybe like hulky sized and things like that, and some of them get a bit more freaky, but I think the gargoyle thing worked so well for this, and the not so subtle homage to Ghostbusters when they first hatch.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Just the fingers cracking out of the stone was really, really cool. I think it was Gluttony. The design of Gluttony was horrifying.
Yeah, just with the big split mouth all the way down. Yeah.
All the way down his belly. Oh, good lord! And I don't know what the scrappy little bugger was again with the long tongue, but it was like, wow, that's a better venom than Venom.
Oh yeah, I think probably it wasn't. I don't think it was Lust. I think Lust was the tentacle one.
Which, when you think about it, that's gross.
Yeah. Who knows?
I'll be honest. When it was scrapping with Mary Marvel, I was like, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. So yeah.
Also, can we just appreciate that we've now got Mary Marvel in a movie?
We got the family of them, and that freaking includes Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr.
Yep.
Although without his luscious locks from the New 52 version, but still.
Well, yeah. What are you gonna do?
That was. I mean, they looked, aside from the long blonde hair not being there, they were straight off the damn page.
Yep.
Like straight off the page. It was so cool to see that, and it was because the thing is, this film, by the third act, I was like, I feel like a kid now. Like I'm watching a superhero movie as a kid.
Yeah, it's a kid's power fantasy.
Yeah,
as much as like a lot of modern superhero films are like late adolescent, early adult power fantasies. This is a kid's. This is
a kid's
literally
superhero movie about kids.
Literally it is literally a fantasy movie in which kids get superpowers.
And so that entire sort of moment and switch, I was like, oh, this is so beautifully told. This is so well done, and so kick-ass to see. And also, it's great because it's like you've got 7 big monsters and an evil scientist with power. Well, 6 big monsters at this point and an evil scientist with powers.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to handle it yourself. Boom! Here's another 5 of you. Off you go, guys. Go get the job done. And it was.
And DJ Katrona finally gets to be a superhero.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite Superman, but almost.
Well, basically, it's a better Superman at this point. I mean,
well, yeah, that's true.
I appreciated that. I thought that was cool. And I just love the fact that obviously the childlike stuff informs them. I love the fact that we were getting Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter references in the middle of the fights.
Yeah.
Who's the young sister? Is it Darla?
Darla, yeah. Just fabulous.
Adult Darla was bloody wonderful because you were like, yeah, that's a 6-year-old. Yeah, there they are.
That is that character in a grown-up body. That is who it is.
That was so cool. I loved that sort of stuff. I think that was the thing that I loved the most about the film. It was the energy of the whole thing. It
had energy.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah, which is different from the other outputs so far. But like it didn't shy away from, yeah, this is ridiculous. It embraced it. And it told very heartfelt, very specific story, and it did not shy away from some big emotions that stuff that kids go through, and some stuff that adults go like, oh shit, yeah, I can, I felt like that as well.
I think it was a great advert for fostering.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely. But also it lent into its ridiculousness. I mean, for Christ's sake, the hall monitor scene.
Yeah,
where it's like a parent version of him. They've just thrown an overcoat over him.
At the business office.
At the business office.
Because he's got that overcoat over his cape.
Yeah,
and he's got the ridiculously huge shoulders. Zachary Levi is so good in this.
He's brilliant.
He's so good.
I think my favourite moment in the entire film, and it was down to Jack Dylan Grazer and Zachary Levi's delivery, and the faces of the cashier and the 2 burglars in the balaclavas, was the whole like, I don't know if it's the suit. What if it's you? You should shoot him in the face. Yeah, shoot me in the face. Wait, what?
That whole scene was great.
I did an ugly laugh in the cinema. You know, when you just can't stop it from coming out. It just bursts out of your body.
Yeah.
That so caught me off guard. I thought it was hilarious.
There are so many great gags in this, and it really balances the scary and the thrilling and the funny and the touching really well.
I think as well, like
I love it.
I don't like Man of Steel, but one thing I think it did really well was its depiction of the first time he flies.
Yeah.
But then I realised afterwards, oh yeah, that's because it's taken straight out of Birthright.
Yep.
And in the comic, it has that same energy in that sequence. It's a joyous feeling. But in this, I don't know. I think that scene's been beaten for me in terms of first time flying scene. Because when that moment happened, it was just like, oh my god, thank god he's okay. And then you just kind of felt the joy of him sort of exploring it before he then flies over and is like, you got to help. There's this dude after me.
Yeah.
And that was again, smart call. Like, he starts getting attacked, and what's the first thing a 14-year-old kid's going to do if he's getting beaten up? He's going to leg it.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get out of there. Which is, again, something you don't see in a superhero movie. You don't see the big superhero, the big, strong, massive-shouldered superhero pissing himself and trying to get out of the way. Like, oh, God. And just everything around that. Like, the fact that he just starts essentially busking.
Yeah.
At the top of the steps of the bloody town hall just because it's from Rocky. So
why not?
He's singing Eye of the Tiger while zapping lightning into the sky.
You feel like if the wizard Shazam could see this, he'd be so upset.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Right, Shazam.
Shazam.
What's his name?
Jimon Honsu.
I always pronounce his first name completely wrong. Jimon.
I think it's Jimon, yeah.
Jimon Honsu, because he was oh god, he was in another DC movie recently.
He was the Fisher King in Aquaman.
Fisher King in Aquaman, so it was mostly mocap for that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Motion capture.
Yeah.
And he was Curse in Thor: The Dark World, wasn't he?
Nope.
Scourge.
He was...
No. Oh god.
He is Korath in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh my god, that's
Captain
Digimon.
Marvel.
Oh, that's Digimon. Okay, because I was going to say, like, he always gets covered in stuff. No, he doesn't. He's in freaking Captain Marvel. You're right, absolutely. Oh, I know. I'm getting my DCs and Marvels crossed over. That's the guy who played Killer Croc.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go. So, yeah, but again, this was a last-minute casting, if I remember correctly. Someone else was to play Shazam. And then during Aquaman, they shot his stuff for Shazam. Which makes me think that the trailer footage might be from the previous recording. Because, you know, in the trailer, the bits where he's talking to Billy, he's like fully cloaked and covered, isn't he? All you can see is the glowing lightning on his chest.
Maybe.
But in this, orange robe, stood up tall and proud, big beard, big hair. I'm curious now. I'm going to have to look that one up. But he was wonderful, because you got that frustration. Like the weight of everything he had to do in recruiting someone new, but at the same time, how kind of annoyed he was just getting that it was having to be this way.
Yeah,
it was wonderfully done, and of course, led to a led to a reveal of oh god, what's this fierce? Led to a reveal of Black Adam.
Oh yes,
like Black Adam is a throwaway mention. It's not focused on, but he's the reason everything fell apart for the wizards and whatnot, all his brothers and sisters. Like, he's the reason for that, which is again nice, because that's how you build up your universe without making a thing of it.
Well, yeah,
you sow those seeds really subtly within. Yeah. What else? Right. So I'm going to skip ahead slightly, because I saw it early on. So early in the film, when we first arrive in it's called the Rock of Eternity, isn't it?
Yeah, Rock of Eternity.
Yeah, when we first arrive in the Rock of Eternity, and young young
Billy.
No, not Billy.
No, Savannah.
Savannah, that's it.
Young
Savannah's walking through at the start. You briefly go past a couple of artifacts and soft focus, but right in the foreground there's a big tank with a massive caterpillar in it. And I'm going, no.
See, no. I didn't know I didn't know about this.
It was
because I don't know fuck all about this character.
right. This
So I had to look it up, and when I looked it up, I was like, "Oh fuck me, sideways." Okay.
Yeah. So I saw it and I was like, "That's your Howard the Duck." Like they're giving a little nod to the supervillain Mr. Mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm game for this because I'm aware of Mr. Mind more from animation. Like he's popped up in like Brave and Bold and Justice League Action, and because of that, I'm fascinated by the notion. And he's a villain for several characters, but he's most recurring in Shazam stories.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's cool. There we go. Never fucking expected that he'd be your mid-credits tease for a future plot. Oh my god!
I bet you didn't.
So that little cameo at the beginning wasn't just a cameo. It was your gun. And then they pulled the trigger in the mid-credits scene.
Yeah.
To reveal that Mr. Mind and Dr. Savannah are going to cheer each other up, team up in the future.
The Monster League of Evil.
The Monster League of Evil with freaking a mind-controlling super genius space criminal Wham.
Yep. I wonder if they'll do Captain Nazi as well.
Probably not. Probably not.
Well, you never know.
But they'll do a version of the character, and Billy will probably refer to him as Captain Nazi over here, or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's quite good. I can see that.
And then they'll tick that off the list and be like, "There you go, guys. We did it, but we didn't do it. So there you go.
did it. Are you happy now?
You know how
Are you ever going to be happy?
You know how we sort of forget that Hydra are also Nazis by the time they roll around again in the films. Yeah, well, we're going to move on. So yeah. But I had the balls on him, man. We're at that point now. Like
the balls on him.
Like, forget Lex Luthor and Deathstroke meeting up after Justice League. Like, sod that. You know, forget Stephen What's His Face and Black Manta meeting in the Aquaman credits. No.
Oh, yeah,
Although that's made me realise that's 3 films in a row where the post credits is one villain being introduced to another villain / antagonist with the plan to team up.
They're gonna try and do the Legion of Doom at some point.
If they do I'm not even shitting. If they do a Legion of Doom that contains both Deathstroke and Mr. Mind, I will shit myself with happiness, because that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like the Deadly Assassin.
It is ridiculous.
Tonally, no one's going to be able to make that work without it being bullshit. Like, it can't happen. You can't have Deathstroke in a team and Mr. Mind in a team and find a perfect balance for it tonally. Like, that's the kind of thing that happens in a big DC crossover briefly, and it's acknowledged how weird this moment is, and everybody cheers because it goes, "Oh, that was funny," and then we move on. You can't do a whole film with that, but I will.
Well, I mean, you can. You might. I don't know if you should.
Yeah, okay, that's
but
true.
You can.
Mark Strong is great in this.
Surprising no one.
Of course, but it's again that thing of this is his 3rd comic book movie villain, and specifically his 2nd DC stab at a DC character, and they let him be a baddie, and he is great in this.
Very good baddie.
And it's his lack of shits given to the death and destruction around him, because he's so single-minded in just proving his father wrong, proving his brother wrong, and then getting on with becoming more and more powerful because he feels like he's deserved it his whole life and never got it. Because the idea that it's sort of revealed that through dialogue he's not in charge of that institute that's doing the research into the shared hallucination stuff.
No,
it's
the doctor.
But he's like one of their top people.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's been using this situation the entire time to do this.
No, the doctor who's in charge of it, who gets disintegrated by the door, that's Lotta Loston, who is David F. Sandberg's wife.
Oh my god, when that happens.
She popped up in his shorts that he did before he started doing feature films, and she's been in all his films.
Like the original Lights Out and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
When she disintegrated,
that was fucking horrible.
That was the moment.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was the moment I was like, oh, it's one of these movies.
It's that moment that made me think of Raiders of the Lost Ark in terms of tone.
Yeah. Oh, good. Because it was that whole just sort of dissolving from the face inwards.
Yeah.
Burning up.
Oh.
It was like she burnt up from inside.
Yeah.
And his almost lack of shits given as it happened was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see his path. that stuff was so freaking cool.
It was pretty good.
All of the gore stuff involved, all of
good.
the creepy visuals, the use of envy at the end, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was so good. And that was the bit, because the thing is, you know, I saw some people on Twitter afterwards, like comic fans going like, oh, right, well, you know, you might have had the speed of, what do you call it? Achilles, Speed of Mercury, and the might of Zeus and all that shit, but he didn't have the wisdom of Solomon. It's like, yeah, well, he's a 14-year-old kid. The film wanted to focus on that a bit more, but they definitely used it at least once, and it was that bit at the end.
He gets there.
Like that bit at the end where he's just like, right, so I'm guessing that guy was that, and this other thing which leaves envy, and I mean that was beautifully done.
Yeah,
it was such a great like use of the villain's own sort of hubris and confidence against him. Which is fantastic. Savannah obviously is just like, yeah, no, I've got this. Like, I've got this. It's like, well, you don't, because it's like all I've got to do is lure that one out of you, and you're screwed, mate. So that was
pretty good.
Beautifully done.
It's just a very smartly done. Everything, really.
Everybody. The subplot with his mum is so well done,
so good,
and frighteningly sort of truthful and uncomfortable, and something that a lot of people
you see it coming as well. You see it coming so long before he does.
Yeah, when the police officer, she's like, "Look, I'm cutting this short now. Like, you need to stop putting in effort for someone who clearly didn't want to put that effort in for you."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh God, she's got a point. Like, why wouldn't his mum come looking for him unless she, of course, just took the chance to move on?"
It's like you realise that Billy is going to accept his new family before Billy does, because you can just see that he's already most of the way there.
Yeah.
Until and it's only when he finds his actual mum, it's actually not that much of a decision for him, because he's mostly already there.
It's the sign off. Like it's the last sign. He needs to be like, you need to. Your life is more important than this life you think you have. Yeah. Like focus on you, focus on your new friends and family, and just move on from this journey. Because I don't think at any point he knows or even considers the notion that she abandoned him. I think he's held on to the notion that the circumstances separated them, and that's the only thing stopping him. But like, somewhere in his heart of heart, he knows that this is pointless, and he needs that moment to happen. Asher Angel plays that scene so well.
Yeah.
And the actress who plays his mum plays it so well.
Yeah.
And
very, very good.
Director David Sandberg was the voice of her shitty boyfriend as well. That was his cameo in the film.
And also the voice of
Mr. Mind.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God! Well, he's just bagged himself an extra paycheck if they get a sequel.
I know, right?
Congratulations, David.
He's not daft. This is a fun film that looks like everyone had a blast making it. Everyone's gonna have a blast watching it, and it's just such a breath of fresh air. It's wonderful. I love it so much.
How was your screen? Because mine was sort of relatively busy. It was a 3D showing, so not as busy as the 2Ds. But
mine was a 2D on a Saturday afternoon, and it was pretty full.
Yeah. I've got to say, I don't seek out 3D releases so much nowadays, but like I would recommend, if you can see this in 3D, to see it in 3D. Especially the third act. The third act stuff looks glorious. Like it really kind of takes advantage of the medium and makes it visually gorgeous to see.
Interesting.
Especially just the fight between the family and the
we've
sins.
got to talk about the final set piece in the carnival is just really inventive.
Yeah. Oh, it's like incredible.
The way that the different members of the family use their different strengths to sort of save people and fight off the sins. And just this, just the idea of the Ferris wheel as a centerpiece, as a ticking clock, is very cool.
Yeah.
The sort of disincorporation of the sins, the way they just sort of evaporate out of your way.
Yeah.
The mall Santa.
Oh, he was wonderful.
Great fun.
Yeah. The very real scary moment when Savannah is just like straight up drowning Billy.
Yeah.
He's drowning a 14-year-old child because, as far as he's concerned, it's the
Yeah.
easiest way to kill him and possibly take his power. And you're like, oh, this is happening right now. This is a thing that's happening in a movie. There's your Raiders, like they say, like Temple of Doom sort of stuff. Like, yeah, Short Round is screwed. Like, this is actually happening. That, I mean, the entire use the callback to the suitcase wedgie.
Yeah.
It's nicely done. And the tiger, like the sort of the fight, that was kind of like his final moment of closure, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like using a tiger to let a child at the fair know that everything's going to be all right.
Everything's gonna be alright.
Thematically, this was wonderful. This was really good.
Really good. Really good.
Just the gags based around the tropes, like the Savannah monologuing after the chase, and then it just cuts to Shazam like, what?
What?
Are you speaking? Because they're like a mile apart.
Yeah, it's just gleeful.
So good.
It's gleeful, and what's not to love about that? What's not to love about a movie that attacks its ideas with such joy,
Straight up,
and
the straight up big homage.
Yeah,
in the toy store.
Yeah, that just again subverted for fun. Just. I'm smiling just thinking about it. I cannot wait to show this film to some of the kids in my life.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Because I think they're gonna love it.
I saw it quite a late screening. I'd love to see it at like a weekend matinee because I want to hear that response from a younger audience. And it was so like it's joyous. And
absolutely.
So going back to a few things we've talked about on the podcast before.
Yeah.
During the filming of the movie and the aftermath of the film of the movie, post-production period, Henry Cavill in the movie. No, he's not.
No.
But Soups is.
But, yeah.
And I think actually it being Cavill in that moment would have taken away from the film itself. It would have made a very cool, fun gag.
Yeah.
But it would have taken away from the film a little bit in the same way that Colin Farrell turning into Johnny Depp at the end of Fantastic Beasts sort of takes you out of the movie for a moment. Cause you're like,
just keep it as Colin Farrell.
Yeah, well, yeah, that. But you know what I mean? Like, it sort of takes you out of the movie because you're like, oh, random star. Or in Alita, like, oh, there's Ed Norton. What?
Yeah.
Like, I think if Cavill had showed up at the end, it would have been like, oh, he gets the last sort of button in the film. That doesn't quite work. But just the torso and the subtle John Williams theme sells the gag beautifully, and it means that the final focus is on Freddy and Shazam's faces. So,
which, definitely the heart, like the relationship between Freddy and Billy is absolutely the heart of the film, and it's so well done.
It's me. I did steal your bullet. I'm sorry. Oh God! It just like drops into the tray.
Stupid adult hand.
Like stupid adult. And there goes his $600 eBay item.
Yeah. Also, the strip club gags. Both of them.
Oh my God.
Both of the strip club gags.
So wonderfully done.
Just the kids' different reactions to him. And Pedro's just like, yeah, that's not my thing.
I'm still feeling bad for Ray. Ray Fisher. Oh, that was fun. I'm still feeling bad for Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
Because in the end credits, you get all this wonderful, like... The end credits, I can't remember what the song was, but the song and the style...
It's a gorgeous bit of animation, isn't it?
I felt like I was watching Spider-Man Homecoming again. It was a very similar style as the end of Spider-Man Homecoming.
I think this and that movie have a lot in common, but I think Shazam just has more heart.
Shazam's a better film. I'd say.
Hands down.
Because it very much exists on its own within the bigger world, whereas Spidey Homecoming relies on the
wider universe,
the through line relationship from Civil War for the character's motivation. Not to say it's a bad film; it's definitely a great film. But Shazam's a better movie. If you were saying to me which one do you want to watch right now, I'd be like Shazam.
Hands down.
So, but Ray Fisher ignored in the credits. There's no Cyborg reference in the credits.
Nope. You know why? Because Cyborg sucks. I like Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
Cyborg sucks.
But he says the booyah.
But he sucks. Unless you're watching the Teen Titans animated series, he sucks.
Can we also talk about how the post-credits gag now
No.
works different. Right. Good night, everybody. Works differently in a world post the release of Aquaman.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably in the movie.
Oh, it was definitely there. Oh yeah, it was probably in the film itself, but it's very much a because Aquaman has to have been around long enough for Freddie to have a T-shirt of his insignia.
Yeah, of course.
But like it's very much a what do you call it? A sort of a in a world pre-Aquaman coming out.
Yeah,
That would have been oh yeah, stupid. He talks to fish. In a post-Aquaman world.
Yeah.
The gag is, oh, Shazam's stupid for thinking that's stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the context of that joke is different because of the cinematic climate we're in now. But it still works as a joke. Like, it was obviously written with the intent of being the first one, and now it's you know, it works the other way too. I want to see...
Totally.
I want to see these characters again.
Yeah.
But similarly, if we never got another one for whatever reason, I would also be happy because this is such a beautiful beginning, middle, end, closed story that works so well on its own. But we're definitely getting Savannah, Mr. Mind, and Billy again in some context for definite. Like
this movie's gonna do very, very well.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got a new Justice League down the line that comprised of, at the very least, Wonder Woman, Shazam, and Aquaman from the current lineup.
Here's the thing. Shazam only cost $80 million to make.
Yeah.
That's fucking nothing for one of these.
Yeah, it's going to break so much above that. It's going to...
I think its first domestic weekend is going to be was around 50 million.
I'll check the old Twitter moments because it was brought up today.
But yeah, it's done well because it's great.
Here it is.
When you make great films, they tend to do well. Not always, but they tend to.
Domestically, in its opening weekend, took home 53 million, and internationally, 102.
So that's its budget, like, twice over.
Yeah, so Shazam is a goddamn success, and if they're sensible, they'll make another, but they'll let the team take their time to do what they want to do, and do it right.
Because that's the really impressive thing, is that's next to no money for a film like this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look cheap at all.
Oh, God, no, yeah. It saved its money because a lot of its set pieces and scenes are very much character-driven, conversational stuff within like home environments, school environments, and then it saved it because the Rock of Eternity feels like very much like it's a physical set. So you know,
absolutely.
You, once you've paid for it, built it, and you've had it for for 5 weeks filming in and around it, you've done it. Like you don't need to go back and spend months on it making it look like something else, and so. They've spent that money really wisely, and I won't be surprised again if it was because the character is unproven in a wide market. You know, the last time Captain Marvel / Shazam was a huge thing, we're talking the 40s. So it would be a risk to spend Wonder Woman money on it, and I imagine everyone's fee would have been. You know, obviously a decent fee. They're making a movie, but it wouldn't be anywhere near so like the other DC movies. Now that's going to change for the sequel. The
thing is, when you look at the concept, like how it should be a piece of piss to market this film to kids.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Like so.
Hey kid,
they've got a moneymaker.
You wanted
on
to be a superhero? Well, here's a kid like you.
Exactly.
Be a superhero.
And the way that the ending turns it around with him sharing his power with his family is like, oh, actually no. It doesn't just belong to the one person. He can share it. That's some compelling shit right there. You know what I mean?
It's
for
kids. It's why Into the Spider-Verse was so successful.
Oh yeah.
The whole message of anyone can be this. It's about being the best version you can be. So damn.
Be the best you can be, Chris.
You buggers. Oh, mince. That's what they say, right?
Yes, that's what they say.
It's definitely what they say. Just be the best you can be. Oh, mince.
Oh, mince. Oh, mince. I think that's a good note to end it on. What do you reckon?
Oh, mince. I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to let us know what you thought about Shazam, we'd love to chat with you about it. Hit us up on the Twitter @BigDamnCast. If you want to send us a Shazam email, that's fine. bigdamcontact@gmail.com, and any email, of course, for that matter. But
A Shazemail.
Just know we're probably not going to read them for at least 2 weeks, because next week is a pre-recorded special.
Christopher's doing a show, the bastard.
I'm following a yellow brick road, but
we will be reviewing. I will be reviewing Hellboy next weekend
on the channel
on the YouTube channel, but we're not going to get into it on a podcast until Chris gets back.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, we can record Easter Sunday if you're free.
Oh yeah, we've got that.
So we can do a Hellboy spoiler dive that weekend for the Friday 26th release, which of course is the release of Avengers Endgame, which we'll do a big all episode on the week after, folks. But next week, without giving too much away, we're following up an old email about sort of abandoned projects with a guest and alcohol. So
it goes places.
It goes places and has a banging third act. So join us next week, won't you, for more filth and feculence.
Please do.
Hit us up on the old Twitter, like we say. If you want to chat Shazam, we'll chinwag along with your Big Damn cast. And check out twitch.tv/BigDamnStream for adventures in backlogging. What's next on the menu for that, sir?
I'm still chugging through Resident Evil, because last episode I spent nearly an hour going around in circles.
Sounds like Resident Evil, all right.
But I've finally made some progress, and I'm near it. I think the game will be done this week. If not, well, by the time you hear this, the game might be done. So yeah,
it might be.
Just get on there. But also, I've started listing up what's coming up next on the events page on Twitch. So just pop over to the Twitch channel.
Oh, beautiful! There we go.
Have a look at the events, see what's coming up next.
But until then, Shazam!
Shazam!
Did it work?
No, I'm still me.
Oh.
But you could argue I've always had the body of a demigod.
Maui.
Buddha.
Santa.
Santa's not a demigod, he's a spirit, alright? He's a Christmas spirit. No, that's Santa Claus, sorry.
Nah.
Yeah.
You don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, that one. Christ on his throne, no.